up and is topping. So the AGI is basically saying that if nothing is done to, as it were, control the depreciation of the cedi, then we are going to see the hikes in prices of products. And however, confidence in the general economy was high, and expectations for the third quarter is also very high. So basically, these are the highlights of the barometer as presented by the AGI today.
So I know that comparing the first quarter to the last quarter in 2017, they were not happy. They specifically mentioning that business confidence in the economy was low for the first quarter, but they're saying that for the second quarter, business confidence has gone up. So that's a key difference.
Exactly.
Any other difference between the first and second quarter you can share with us?
Exactly. So it dipped a little bit for the first quarter. It was 105. Okay. Now it's gone up a bit, and so basically confidence is high, but they are expecting more from government. They want government, and another thing they talked about was taxes. You know,
I was going to come to that.
Exactly. So the straight levy regime, where that 5% has been left for them to pay, it's something that they are not happy about, and they are asking government to, as it were, slow down in implementing. However, the implementation has taken effect from 1st of August, that is this month, and they are asking government to be flexible with their members because it is adding up to their burden, and so if government is too stiff with it, it is going to drain their businesses. So that's also another thing. And access to credit. I mean, it has been a major problem for them for like forever, and they are saying that banks should support businesses.
But what about the cost of credit?
The cost is also another factor because they go for the loans and at very high interest rates, and they want something to be done. They want the BOJ to impress on the banks to make sure that their rate corresponds with the policy rate, exactly, which I don't see it happening anytime soon, because the Bank of Ghana has admitted that the cost of operating a bank in Ghana is very high, therefore they can't really, as it were, be too tough on the banks to reduce their rates. So these are some of the issues raised in the barometer.
And finally, I know that power is a very key factor. I mean, for businesses, and I mean, electricity is still key and high on their list. Even though it's been reduced, why is that?
It has been reduced, but they say that compared to the other countries in the sub-region, it is still very high, and so producing stuff or goods in the other countries is quite cheaper than theirs, and they are not very happy because already the market, they are competing with imported goods. We rely so much on importation of a lot of goods on the market, and so they have to compete, and then you also burden them. So even though it is low, it has been reduced, they think it's still high.
It's not low enough.
Yes, it's still high.
All right. So high cost of credit, high cost of electricity, and many more. Those are the features of the AGI Business Barometer. Many thanks to you. I know you're anchor of the business desk, helping us there with that. Moving on to our next story. The Institute of Internal Auditors, Ghana, is blaming Board of Directors for influencing and coercing external auditors to change financial statements of companies in order to make them look good. According to the Institute, most external auditors sideline internal auditors when auditing their financials. The assertion comes at the back of concerns raised by some financial observers on the role auditors played in the collapse of banks in the country.
According to the regulations of the Bank of Ghana, banks are required to publish their financial statements every year. These financial statements are expected to be audited by auditing firms approved by the central bank. With the recent collapse of banks, some critics have questioned the role of auditors in drawing the attention of relevant stakeholders to financial malfeasance. The president of the Institute of Internal Auditors Ghana, Juliet Abuaji-Riafe, is of the view that the practice where internal auditors are sidelined could be partially blamed.
You have instances where external auditors come in, they don't even see the internal auditors. They just come in, go to finance, and then do what they have to do, and they go. So that is one.
In the recent findings on why Capital Bank and UT Bank collapsed, The central bank cited, for example, that the board members withdrew monies without going through the proper procedures, while shareholders breached most of the Bank of Ghana regulations in approving loans for themselves. But the question remains, why the audited books of these banks couldn't capture these acts until investigations were conducted? Madam Abuaje Riafi explains.
When it comes to some of these issues that you are raising, it's basically, I think it's a governance issue. The people, because when the external auditor finishes the work, it has to go through the audit committee before the whole board will look at it, before it is finally signed. The people who sit there on the audit committees and at the board, do they even understand what they're supposed to do? That's one thing. Do they appreciate their roles? And then, is it that they understand what they're supposed to do, but because of their personal interest, they overlook it? If the systems in place are being abused by those at the top, at the governance level, then you have these things occurring, because the report goes to them, so they can decide on what to do. And sometimes, a little that we've heard and seen, most of these auditors want to keep the jobs. So there are times they succumb to, oh, take this out. Oh, we'll improve. You know, I mean, the whole thing is like you are helping the organization to improve.
With such a system, how can internal and external auditors be independent to overcome pressures from board of directors to change financial statements?
The shareholders in appointing directors should get very good people to manage the institutions for them. Some of the private sector institutions are on the stock exchange. They have the Securities and Exchange Commission, you know, but those who are on their own.
Meanwhile, the president of the Ghana Association of Restructuring and Insolvency Advisors, Felix Edu, believes auditors caught manipulating financial statements must have their licenses revoked.
The Institute of Chartered Accountants basically focuses on complying with the code of ethics and ensuring that the diligence, the standards, the work they do comply with the auditor standards or the accounting standards. All right? And then they behave as an accountant in a professional, in a certain way, manner. Okay? If they've done all that, then it's okay with them. But if they have also run afoul of the laws of Ghana, all right, then of course you have a whole set of machinery to deal with that.
Reporting for City News, Lawrence Segbefia.
We'll turn into some other stories. Former MD for Capital Bank, William Atoyesian, has refuted media reports that he used funds meant as liquidity support to establish other businesses. Now, in a statement released for him by his lawyers, basically clarify that investigations are still ongoing by the Economic and Organized Crime Unit, EOCO. He added that EOCO had not issued its findings on the investigations yet. The lawyers also stated categorically that most of the news going around is not true and urged the public to exercise restraint until EOCO comes out with its final findings, after which every issue will be addressed. The statement further urged the press to be circumspect in their reportage. It will be recalled that the BOG, as part of sanitizing the banking industry, revealed that Mr. Atoyesian misused funds of 610 million cedis from the central bank meant to serve as liquidity support to the bank. Well, still staying with banking, the management of the Consolidated Bank Ghana has announced that the bank is now operational. In a statement cited by City Business News, the bank said it is well capitalized in excess of the new capital requirement of the bank. The Bank of Ghana last week announced the creation, the Consolidated let me take that again. The Bank of Ghana last week announced the creation of the Consolidated Bank Ghana Limited to take over 5 struggling banks in the country. Sovereign Bank, Royal Bank, the Beige Bank, Construction Bank and Unibank are the 5 financial institutions that have run into liquidity challenges. Well, moving on to some other stories. About 500 people should secure employment by the end of the year with the completion of Lee Found Foodstuff Company Limited. This announcement was made by a Deputy Minister for Trade and Industry, Robert Ahomka-Lindsay, at the groundbreaking ceremony of the company in Ningo Prampram district of the Greater Accra region. My colleague Anita Arthur was there and has more in the following report.
The Lee Found Foodstuff Company Ghana Limited was incorporated in Ghana on 19th January this year in response to the government's industrialization drive. The company will produce tomato paste and spices and other condiments for the Ghanaian and West African markets. The two major shareholders undertaking the projects are Grand Rice Food Company Limited, Tianjin Limin Condiments Company Limited of China, who are jointly investing an initial capital of $3 million with additional capital investment in the near future. Speaking to City Business News at the groundbreaking ceremony of the company, Robert Ahomka-Lindsay said efforts will be put in place to ensure the raw materials for the company are sourced locally.
They are looking, as we start building this thing, they have assured us that they're already looking at varieties available locally. They're looking at farming opportunities here, and I have no doubt the DC in Ningo Prampram is going to be very focused on ensuring they do as much as possible here. But as a government, we're not going to tell them in month 3, you must stop importing. We don't work in a command economy. We work with them where we know that is their focus. And as I said, this is what they already do in China. So this is their model. Their model is to look to source local raw materials. They don't know it well enough yet here, but this is what we as a ministry will also be doing to support them.
On her part, the coordinator of the One District, One Factory initiative, Gifty Ohene Konedu, said the company will get all the support it needs, such as access to good roads.
We provide all the necessary needs of the factory. So, for instance, if the access roads here are bad, we'll link up with the Ministry of Road to ensure that they have a good road. If they have problems regarding compliance issues, Food and Drugs Standards Authority, we have a legal unit. So we make sure that we solve all that problem.
For the president of the Ghana Chinese Business Association, Tang Hong, he assured that the China business community will bring in more businesses to support the One District, One Factory initiative. The project is one of 14 projects out of a total of 57 that have so far received approval from government to start operations. Come December this year, the Lee Found Food Factory will be established and its operations will employ up to 500 people. The Chinese Business Association has also assured that it will establish more factories towards government's One District, One Factory initiative. For City News, I am Anita Arthur.
And that's all for the Business Dashboard for today. For more business news, do visit citybusinessnews.com. Well, my name is Bobby Osei. We'll catch you tomorrow with more news from the world of business on the Business Dashboard. Enjoy.